Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board. I am Dan Miles. I call this meeting to order. If everyone could please stand, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of here before we get started. The board had met previous to this meeting for a reorganization of our board. We're going to enter into the record the gist of that meeting. So our chairman for the board for this year, well, we'll start with the meetings will be held the second Tuesday of every month in this room at 7 p.m. The board had received a letter of intent for our court reporter from Karen Browndorf. She will be appointed to the term at her current rate. The board received a letter from Keith Bidlingmeyer, solicitor, from Bidlingmeyer and Bidlingmeyer, to be retained as the board solicitor at a rate of $175 an hour, which is the current rate. The board agreed, and Mr. Bidlingmeyer will be retained for this board for this coming year. You can now join us. Keep me out of trouble. Thank you. The appointments of the board, Dan Miles, chairperson. Al Brooks is the vice chair. Recording secretary will be Bill Kiernan. Our other at-large board member is Doug Mull. He just joined us. Doug, welcome back. This board is still looking for a fifth board member and 3 alternates. A little advertising for that, so thank you. Anybody interested, let them know. And that concludes the board reorganization. Thank you. Okay, we'll go right to the first bit of business here. We received a letter about petition number 6, Allstate Auto Sales, requesting a continuance on the matter for the petition at 981 Lincoln Highway. They just want to work some stuff out with the township. So do we have do we all in favor of continuing the till the February 8th meeting?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. That's continued till the February 8th meeting. Thank you. Okay, back on to agenda. Petition number 1 for Robert Kaucher, 220 Chelsea Circle, Fairless Hills, PA. Requesting dimensional variances to construct a garage which has minimum of 4 foot from the property line and 10-foot separation between the garage and the house. Good evening, Mr. Kaucher.
Good evening, sir.
First thing we'll do, we'll have you signed, sworn in by a court reporter. Okay, great. And now we're going to mark some of the exhibits for your petition before we get started, then we're going to turn it over to you to explain what's going on, okay? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as DHB 1, along with the accompanying statement from the applicant. 2 will be a letter received by the township from the neighbor of this applicant, Joseph Muldowney. That'll be ZHB 2. 3 is the permit denial letter from Falls Township dated December 2nd, 2021. 4 is a sketch drawing of the proposed addition. 5, impervious calculation sheet. 6 will be 4 pages containing 4 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 7 is the applicant notification along with the Zoom waiver. 8 is proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier-Times, showing that this matter was published December 28th, 2021, and then again January 4th, 2022. That is all the board exhibits. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied. All the appropriate notices have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
The one matter states that the house is more than 4 feet from the garage. I believe that was just a misread on the plan. The plan shows 14 feet from the house to the garage.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I do see it's 14.5 foot 5 inches from the property. Yeah, thank you.
My intention is to replace the existing garage. It is, to my knowledge, the original.
Oh, there we go. The original building that was included with the house, it's in a pretty bad state of repair. The intent for this, my daughter passed from COVID in July, and all of her belongings are in storage. You obviously know Fairless Hills house storage is at a premium. And right now, all her stuff is stored away at a storage facility off-site. And we're just trying to create a safe, dry place that we can store her things till we are ready to, deal with them as needed.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to have our board ask some questions if they have any, okay?
Yes, sir.
Al?
Yeah, this looks like you had an existing structure there already?
Yes, sir.
Okay. that's all.
We're trying to stay dimensionally exactly the same. I mean, it'll be cosmetically a little bit different, but otherwise, functionally, size-wise, it's the same.
Yeah, I have nothing else, Dan.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
Can we turn microphone on?
Sorry about that. Bill? Any questions?
I have none.
Thank you. Doug?
I have none, Dan.
Yeah, I also have none. Is there any public questions, comments for this petition number 1 on Chelsea Circle?
We have no public comment.
No public comment registered, there's no public comment in the building. Matt, did we receive anything into the township? We did not. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, great. Would someone like to make a motion for petition number 1?
I'll make the motion. I move that the application of Robert Ketchler requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-20F in table 1 of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to construct a garage which has a minimum of 4 foot from the property line and 10-foot separation between the garage and the house of the property located at 220 Chelsea Circle, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania 19030, as depicted on the plans in accordance with testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Okay, do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And Bill, could you please poll the board?
Al,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
myself is a yes. Dan?
Yes. Okay. Your petition's been approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You'll receive some correspondence through the solicitor's office, okay?
Great, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a great
good
night. Okay, this brings us to petition number 2, Ia Shubitiolze.
Yes,
I'm sure I killed that, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Good evening, Ia.
All right.
We're going to have you sworn in by I'm sorry, let me read the petition first. 296 Thornridge Drive, Levittown, PA. She's requesting a dimensional variance to allow a shed to encroach into the minimum distance between shed and pool. Okay. So, Ia, we're going to have you sworn in by our court reporter, okay? Next voice you hear will be hers.
Yes, I will tell the truth and all the truth. Nothing but the truth, that's correct.
Could you please state and spell your full name?
Ia, which is spelled I-A, and last name is Shubitiolze.
Can you spell that, please?
Ia, if you could spell your last name for our court reporter, please.
Sure, Shubitiddze.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, you can have a seat, thank you. We want to mark some of the petitions, from the exhibits for your petition, and then we're going to turn it over to you to let us know what's going on, okay?
Sure.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as EHB 1, along with the accompanying hardship letter from the applicant. 2 will be the permit denial letter from Falls Township dated 12/7/2021. 3 is an impervious calculation sheet. 4 is a plot plan for the property. 5 is a letter it's a construction permit from Lower Bucks County Joint Municipal Authority. That is dated November 11th, 2021. 6 is a plot plan for this property. 7 is notification to the applicant along with the Zoom waiver. That is dated December 28, 2021. 8 is notification to the adjoining or abutting property owners. That notice is dated December 28, 2021, sent for Falls Township. 9 is proof of publication of the Bucks County Courier-Times, showing this matter was published December 28th, 2021, and then again, January 4th, 2022. That is all the board exhibits. I'm sorry, I'm missing one. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. 10 is 5 colored photographs, one of which shows that a property was posted as required. Now that is all the board exhibits. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied the appropriate notices have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Billington. Okay, yeah, all yours, sorry. What's going on?
Okay, all right, I will stand up. Okay, we bought the shed in 2015. It's a small shed, 8 by 8, and we put it in the back near the fence, 4 feet away from the fence, in the back of the house. But our water department argued with us. They said it's on the easement, and we had to move it in the front near the pool, which we did. And as you see, we got approved from water department. And I didn't know that we have to get another permit from Falls Township. But Falls Township denied that because they guys told us that it's too close to the pool. But there is no any other spot in the back of the house that we can store or we can move the shed. I suggested to move it on the other side of the pool, but then it was argued that it's too close to the house. And this is a six bedroom house. We definitely need a shed because where all these belongings we're gonna store. There's no way that people who moved now in my old house, they do need that shed, and I don't know where else we can put. I really don't.
Okay.
And it's not a shed, it's a small shed. It's 8 by 8 shed.
Got you, thank you. Okay, we're gonna see if the board has any questions for you, okay?
Sure,
Great.
thank you.
Al?
No, I have nothing.
Sure. Bill?
I have none.
Doug?
I have none.
Yeah, I also have no questions. Joint Municipal Authority kind of does hold some power where they want things and not things, so we understand that you had to move it out of their easement. Are there any public comments in-house here? Nope. Anything online, on Zoom?
No public comment.
Thank you. Matt, anything through the township we should know about letters or? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think it's appropriate now that we see if, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion. I move that the application of Shubitita, requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-43E of Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow a shed to encroach into the minimum distance of 10 feet between the shed and the pool at the property located at 296 Thornridge Drive, Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19054, as depicted on the plans in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Bill, pull the board, please.
Al?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Dan?
Yes. Okay, yeah, the petition's been approved. You'll receive a letter from the solicitor's office. Okay? That'll close this out. You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna start now. Oh, we can have Ia removed from the room? Unless you want to stay. It's up to you. I don't know, I would. I'd probably do something else. Okay, petition number 3. John Asta, Big Oak Fuel. This was continued from our December 14th meeting. 1056 Trenton Road, Fallsington, PA 19054. Requesting a use variance to allow parking of vehicles used to deliver heating oil. Mr. Asta here? Excellent, thank you. This is your attorney? Okay, great. So, Mr. Asta, you're going to speak, so I'm going to have you, I'm sorry. No, okay, great. So what we'll do first, we're going to have both you guys sworn in. Okay. Okay, great. Now we're going to mark the exhibits for your petition, and then we're going to do some other things first.
Mr. Chairman, we'll mark the application for zoning ordinance to appeal as ZHB 1, along with the accompanying letter from Big Oak Fuel, 2-page document. 2 will be notification to the applicant, John Asta, that original, I'm sorry. 2 will be a letter from Falls Township dated September 23rd in regards to Mr. Asta's letter of intent. 3 is a letter from Big Oak Landscape Supplies, Inc. It is undated, however, it's requesting approval for the parking at the address of 1056 Trenton Road. 4 is a diagram of the parking as proposed. 5 is 2 pages containing 4 colored photographs submitted by the applicant. 6 is a letter from Falls Township dated December 28th to the applicant, giving notice of tonight's meeting. 7 will be 5 colored photographs on 5 separate pages, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 8 is a letter from my law firm to the applicant providing notice of tonight's meeting. That letter is dated December 16th. 9 will be the original publication of this matter. That matter was published in the Bucks County Courier-Times, November 30th, 2021, and then again, December 7th, 2021. There's all the board exhibits. Mr. Asta, do you have notice to the adjoining or abutting property owners, providing a notice of tonight's meeting?
Yeah, it was sent out, and he has copies inside there. Tom just sent it out, and he signed it.
Okay, sir, can you hand them up, please, so I can take a look? Yes, please. Thank you. Sir, is this the only notification you have, or proof of notification to the adjoining or abutting property owners, what you've handed me?
Is this the letter, the only letter that was sent to those properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have the date of the meeting on it. It only has the time. So in order for it to be good service, it has to have a date. 7 PM, we don't know when.
So it just references a Tuesday, but doesn't say what date.
Well, the two people are here that it was mailed to, if that matters.
Can we take a?
Give us a second.
Sure. Can we take a 2-minute recess?
Yeah, we're just gonna take a quick break.
adjoining or abutting property owners for this application. Is that accurate?
The 5 parcel lots, they're the 2 owners that are responsible for the whole.
Yes, a little closer, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, there's 5 parcel lots around that location. They're owners of the 5, but they represent 2 addresses. That's why you need 2 mailings from them.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I mean,
Oh, the mic might be off.
Battery died or something. Okay.
Check.
Oh, thank you very much.
all right, Mr. Chairman, since the adjoining or abutting property owners are actually here, that would suffice for service. What I'll do is I'm going to mark what has been handed to me as the letter as A1, and I will mark the 2 addresses as A2. And with that, I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Billigmeyer. Mr. Heleniak, are you in here to provide active counsel in opposition?
Yes, I've been authorized by the township to, excuse me. Good evening, Greg Heleniak on behalf of the Township Solicitor's Office. Been authorized by the Board of Supervisors to assert our 9083 status, party status tonight.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Heleniak, if you want to take a spot at the table, please. The township's party to every petition, but they're taking an active role in this matter. Okay, Mr. DeSisto, since you'll be speaking first, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, well, basically, we're requesting to have parking on Joy's property. We have a situation where we need parking. She has the lot available, and she expanded her property to accommodate parking. So when we reached out to her, we made up a lease that we thought we could park there.
He was coming through my.
We hear it fine.
Yeah, we hear it pretty good.
So then we found out, you know, that it wasn't proper parking ordinance or whatever. So we said, okay, what do we do to get this right? So we filled out all the necessary documents and sent them over to you. And we waited for a response, and then our initial response where we were denied. So the next thing that happened is we were informed we would be questioned and to show up for the meeting to, you know, to go forward. So that's why I'm here, to answer any of your questions or concerns on why that would be a problem. Now, you should know you have in this township 2 other oil companies that have parking of fuel trucks. You have Rex Fuel and you have Costello Fuel. They're in your township. They've been there for many years without incident. And actually Costello has the same rating, the same NC. They're over on New Falls Road. So we're just asking for the same accommodation so we can have our company move forward and have a place to park.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeSisto. We'll see if our board has any questions, okay?
Sure.
Then you can answer them in turn. Doug?
Not at this time, Dan.
Okay. Bill?
Yes, one of my concerns is, what do you do for, if there's a hazardous spill? Do you have any material there or anything contained at the spill?
Yeah, there's several types of spills that can happen. The larger spill that could happen, you know, we have an 800 number.
Can't hear.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out.
Okay. Lucky I was in IT for a while. Yeah, so we have spill, if there's a small spill, we have accommodations for that. We have speedy dry, we have certain absorbent material.
I'm right. Check.
There we go.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, so there's in place also emergency response if there should be a large spill for some reason. But that should be really not a concern because there's no activity. It's not a refinery. It's just a parking. The trucks are just being parked, and the trucks are as I sent in on the documentation. The trucks leave the yard and they come back at night and they're parked there overnight. They leave like 7 in the morning. We're back around 5. And they dump the oil and they're brought back empty. The only transfer of the fuel oil is done at the refineries or at someone's home. So the trucks are sealed, they're inspected once a year by the weights and measures. They're all up to par on manufacturers and maintenance schedules. So never did I have, or have I seen a truck just leak all the oil out of it. So I could see that would be concerned, but that would be the case here because there's no oil stored, such like as in a refinery or any kind of transfer going on.
So the trucks will always be empty in the yard?
The trucks will come back empty at the end of the day because we buy the oil, we sell it, and then we return the trucks empty. And you should know the spill, the way it would spill, a large spill, the trucks would have to be running pumping oil. If there should be a gasket or something leaking, it's a very small amount that would show up at our pre-trip every day. Our drivers do a pre-trip and a post-trip every day, so we look for certain things like that for concern of any kind of leaks.
Well, the reason it brings up, you're not really in a secured location, and your trucks will be open to the public, more or less anybody walking by. And, you are, and is it going to be pervious or non-impervious surfaces that are going to be parked on? More or less stone or blacktop?
They're on stone.
So, that's where my concern is that, oil, if it does leak, because accidents happen, will get down into the soil. You got open space on one side where I'm just concerned about that. That's all I have.
Thanks, Bill. Al?
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I'm concerned with the stone, anything leaking down in that stone. I do believe it's woods right next to that. We have drainage going alongside that property. And I see the hardship. What's your hardship currently? I'm trying to read through for your hardship. What's the reason?
The hardship is why we're here, because we're trying to find a place to park our trucks. And
Where are you currently parking?
they were in Bristol. They were down over in Bristol for a while, and they're not renewing for us.
Okay.
So, we're a local township company that's close to our home base. The owner of the property's fully aware of all the things your concerns were, and she's comfortable with them being there. It's not like it's on a street in the middle of a neighborhood. It's actually a pretty good location to have something like that parked. And again, I hate to go back to this, but you already have pre-existing oil companies. As you said, you're open to the public. Costello's right on New Falls Road around places you eat. They're right next to JoJo's. They're right next to a major road as well. So that's why we thought it wouldn't be a problem, because we're not asking for any more than that.
Okay.
Can I add one thing to that?
Sure.
Please, on the mic, please, sir.
No problem. Both of those companies are both on stone.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. My question, just the only way you're coming in and out of this property with your trucks is on Trenton Road, right?
Correct.
There's no other exits onto Tyburn or over that way, right?
No, there's one exit and one entrance.
Okay. All right. Now, is there any ordinance about having to be in a fenced-in area for the fuel trucks or anything?
No, there's not.
There's not, okay. I knew that Costello was putting one in, but that might have been of his own want and need. Okay. Mr. Heleniak?
Yes, if I may. Mr. DeSisto, what is your relationship to the application?
I'm the Director of Operations for Big Oak Fuel.
Okay. Do you have an office at the location of the property, or just parking?
The property will just be parking. Our office is on Viaduct Lane.
Is there anything about this site that makes it uniquely suited for truck parking, other than other
Yeah, I
sites?
think the space that, for trucks, the space that we can navigate through there, and it's an open space. And again, we thought it was good for the township that we picked that, because it's not really, you know, it's considered neighborhood commercial, so it's residential, but it's really not, like I said, in the middle of you know, with a lot of houses around the vicinity. And then what we did do is we researched that, and we saw that all 5 parcels in that whole area is owned by Joy and Calvin, and they're perfectly okay with that being there. So I don't see a neighborhood problem in the immediate area of neighbors having any kind of issue with that.
Have you looked elsewhere for parking where it would be permitted underneath the township's ordinances?
We did look in a couple other places, and it just didn't work out. We were approved for, what was that one place?
Can I answer that?
I have no objection to that.
Okay, I've owned a property right across from, the old Clover where, I forget the dealer is now, the truck dealer. I sold it to right across the street to the guy that sells, asphalt. I was approved there to park, and I stayed there for 2 years, and then I sold it because it was too big. Then I was parked behind Engine 30 in Falls Township, back behind the fence for 11 years. And the reason that I like this is it's right next door to my house, and I see no reason to go spend 300 grand on a property just to park 4 oil trucks, but my office is right in Vermilion Hills for the last 30 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have nothing further for
Okay,
these two.
great, thank you. Any public comments, questions for the petition?
Nothing online.
Nothing online, nothing here in person? Okay. Any further board comments, questions? Mr. Sisto, are there other witnesses you'd like to present?
Well, I would just like Joy to step up, and Calvin, and just maybe, they're the owners of the 5 parcels, and maybe they can weigh in on it.
All right, Calvin, we're gonna have you sworn in, and Joy, if you wanna, just, both of you guys come up and be sworn in, and then you'll state and spell your name for our court reporter, and then just give us your name and address again, and then we can have your comment, thank you.
Okay, cool. Calvin Hopkins.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name?
Joy Sill.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
You guys, all your comments, so if you can just let us know your address and for the record.
Yeah, so we have the 1056 Trenton Road and then 1046 Trenton Road as well. Yeah, since my grandfather, he started our office there about 60 years ago.
Yeah,
And
60 years, yeah.
you know, we've had all kinds of different things parked back there. Never oil trucks, so I know that's a different scenario. But John came to me, he's a friend of mine, and you know, needed a little help finding a space. And once again, we knew that there were oil trucks parked on a similar position, and so we figured it wouldn't be anything different than that. So we didn't see why it would be an issue.
Okay,
Do you have anything to add?
We're really just trying to help another local business owner, but we also have great respect for all the good things about Bucks County in general, so we're not looking to be offensive or do anything that is disturbing, you know, to anyone at the same time. So we're trying to make that all work out, and that's why we're here. So,
okay, great. 1 second, Mr. Heleniak, you have questions for the witnesses?
I have no questions for these
Thank you.
witnesses.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys,
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. They're your only witnesses, Mr. Sisto?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Laniak, any witnesses from your end?
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Takita some questions.
Okay, excellent.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Takita, just for the record, can you state your position with the township?
I'm the Township Director of Building and Planning and Township Manager.
You're also the zoning officer, correct?
Correct.
You received a request from Mr. Asta?
Yes.
And what did that request state the use was? Or just to the best of your recollection?
To, the use of the property was, the proposed use was to store 4 oil trucks.
And what was your determination as to its compliance with zoning?
It was not permitted in that district.
And so this is not a permitted use in which district?
NC,
And is it permitted in the NC district and the other provision or allowance such as special exception or conditional use?
no, it's not.
Is it permitted in any of the neighboring districts to this property?
In the immediate vicinity?
In the immediate vicinity, yes.
No, it is not.
Are you familiar with what the districts in the immediate vicinity are?
NCR, which is a residential district, LR, which is a low-density residential district, and across the street, I think, is IN, which is institutional. But directly abutting it within, right next door to it, in the same strip, though, it is NC, neighborhood commercial.
Okay, so it's part of the NC, but it abuts diverse set of residential districts then?
Correct.
Where is this use permitted, Mr. Tequita?
It would be permitted in the light industrial district.
Is there anything particular or unique about this property that it is not suited for any of the permitted uses in the NC district?
No.
The applicant's witnesses mentioned other properties such as Rex Oil. Is that in an NC district?
I would actually need to look that property up.
Oh, my apologies. So this is, just to reiterate, this is not permitted in this district, correct?
Correct.
And is there, you mentioned that it's permitted in the LI district. Is an LI district in close proximity to the NC district?
No, it is not.
In the alternative, if the board is inclined to grant the variance, are there any conditions that you would suggest that would mitigate the impact of such a use variance?
If the board were inclined to grant this, I would recommend some form of, some visual barrier, form of a solid fence and landscape buffering, and then also limit the number of trucks that would be stored on site at any one time.
And the application was for 4 trucks, correct?
Correct.
And is that if they were inclined to grant the use variance, would that be a reasonable number of trucks outside of the fact the use is not permitted?
I believe it would be.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leniak.
Can I,
Absolutely, we're going to give you a chance to
interject?
rebut. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay,
Sisto.
I disagree with him, because I don't think he's accurate on what you asked him, the solicitor. Is that who you are?
You're asking for a clarification on the,
Yeah, well, I think you need to clear up some things. First of all, we asked you if you knew where Costello Fuel was, and you didn't even know where New Falls Road was when we asked you that a while back. So my clarification I would like for you to clear up is neighborhood commercial is what Costello is, okay? Joyce is neighborhood commercial. Costello has 4 trucks, no fence. We have 4 trucks, Joy has no fence. So you're putting little stipulations on going forward, what you would want to be seen, amended, that's what I'm hearing. So we expect that Costello would be putting up a fence and maintaining how many trucks he has on his property.
I'm going to object to this
I'm
because
going
we're
to
not
actually
comparing
interject, Mr.
properties.
Sisto.
You see what I mean?
Every variance is different to the unique property. We're not going to say, you might bring that up to say that other fuel trucks are allowed there, and we will take that into weighted consideration. But to say that we are now going to make everybody else do everything because we're going to make you do it is not going to be something that we're going to entertain directly.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why it's good for one, not the other.
That might be a suggestion.
Okay.
He didn't say we had to do it or
Yeah.
anything. He said he might suggest that.
And that's why, it was just, we don't understand. That's why we came here today.
Sure.
And we're not asking for building big buildings and signs. It's just the same thing some other resident are doing under the same variance. And so we just like to do the same thing they're doing in this township, as a small business in this township as they are. And we're just trying to understand if there's other issues, why is that? So That's all.
No, yeah, the question was that you were accusing Mr. Takita of not knowing the district, so that wasn't a question, that was an accusation that probably wasn't necessary, right?
Yeah, maybe that was too over the top.
Sure.
But neighborhood commercial, when you see this person has this, they have that, and we want to do the same thing in a property that's rated for that, why would there be any question? It just seems.
There's always a question when you're asking for variance. It's not a permitted use, so we take these case by case.
Yeah.
And while someone else having that on something else may go into the case, it's always not going to be directly. There could be overlying or underlying circumstances that would preclude us from maybe making that decision. We look at everything on a case by case basis.
Okay.
So if you have no further witnesses, anything, Mr.?
One more thing, if I could.
Sure.
The property that I owned across the street from the old Clover was light industrial, and I guess it depends on who reads the deal, what they think. It wasn't permitted in that light industrial. I had to come up here and get a zoning deal done to park there. So I guess it depends on which manager reads it, on how they're going to interpret whatever it is, but it wasn't allowed then, so.
Sometimes, yeah, and things have changed over the years
Yeah.
with zoning regulations changing and
Yeah.
things of that nature. We've changed signage, we've changed a lot of
Yeah.
things in the township over the years, and some are open to interpretation, and sometimes
Yeah.
people come in for a clarification,
Okay.
but. Okay, so in light of this, no further public comments, any questions before we start to move to a decision on this? No, thank you. Nothing came in via Zoom during the meeting?
No public comment.
And Matt, was there any further correspondence from anyone else outside of what we've already heard?
Nothing else from the township.
You want to do executive session?
Okay, we're going to step aside for a quick executive session, hopefully not more than 5-6 minutes. We'll be back. I'm going to ask Dave if you could have Bill and Doug loaded into the room for us. Thank you. We'll be off the record for a moment. Thank you. to further discuss the petition. Okay, we don't have any further board questions, right, before we get going? No, good. Everyone else is good. We're able to make a motion, okay. Mr. Helleniak, you're good? You rest?
I have nothing further, thank you.
Great, okay, great. All right, Mr. DeSisto, we're going to move this to a motion. Would someone like to make a motion for petition number 3, John Asta Big Oak Fuel?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I move that the application.
Sorry, what's that?
Oh,
Oh.
is there anything else? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I rested.
Yeah.
Anybody else zoomed in? Nobody else?
I would just do a last call for testimony.
All right, so we'll have a last call for any further testimony for this petition before we close it. Sorry about that. No, okay. So we have a motion to close testimony?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. Testimony closed. So now we'll move this to a motion for, move it to motion. Someone like to make the motion for the petition number 3, John Asta?
I move that the application of John Asta Big Oak Fuel requesting the use variance from section 209-22B of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow a maximum of 4 vehicles used to deliver heating oil at the property located at 1056 Trenton Road, Fallsington, Pennsylvania, 19054, as depicted on the plans, in accordance with testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, Bill, pull the board, please.
Al?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Dan?
No. Your petition's been approved. You'll get a letter from our solicitor's office.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Yep. All right, here we are, petition number 4. Long awaited. Mark McLaughlin, 8724 New Falls Road, Levittown, PA, requesting a dimensional variance to erect a facade sign which exceeds the 24 square foot allowable coverage. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Langto. I'm representing Mr. McLaughlin in this matter. And before swearing the witness, we do have an affidavit of service of notice to all the abutting property owners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. Okay, Mr. McLaughlin, we'll have you sworn in now by our court reporter.
I do. Martin Thomas McLaughlin, MC, capital LOUGHLIN.
Okay, now we are going to mark some of the exhibits for the petition.
Mr. Chairman, we'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB 1, along with the accompanying statement from the applicant. 2 will be a permit denial letter from Falls Township dated 11/5/2021. 3 is a rendition of the proposed sign. 4 is notice to the applicant providing notice of tonight's meeting. That is dated December 28th, 2021. 5 is 4 pages containing 4 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 6 is proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published December 28th, 2021, and then again on January 4th, 2022. That is all the board exhibits. I've been handed by Mr. Lanscott a packet, if I can have 1 second. Do you have any pre-marked exhibits?
We do not.
Okay, so I'm going to mark this as A1, the packet you handed me. And Mr. Lanscott, the notice that appears, the letter that appears in this packet, this letter was sent to the adjoining or abutting property owners.
That's correct.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Great, thank you, Mr. Billigmeyer. Mr. Lansdott?
All right, Mr. McLaughlin, I would like you to give a brief statement to the board concerning the reason for your application, the nature of your business in Falls Township, and why you believe that this, the sign should be, the size of the sign and your application for a variance should be approved.
Thanks for hearing me, by the way. So we're happy to say 13 years in Falls Township and won a bunch of awards and love doing what we do. This will be our third location in Falls Township, and we started at a little 1,000 square foot spot, and we're moving into a much bigger place. And unknown to us, the sign limitation size was 24 square feet, and our building right now is about 75 foot long and 20 feet tall. And when we looked at a 24 square foot sign, which would probably be smaller than that beautiful American flag on the wall behind you, if people are driving by, it's just going to disappear on that building. And it has a beautiful entrance facade that was put up over top of the entrance foyer, which just lends itself to putting a sign in that space that fills it appropriately. And when we thought about some of the other fitness facilities that are in the area and in Township that are both smaller than us and maybe even a little bigger than us, we wanted to have a sign that would be competitive in size with those businesses going through. So we think it's a beautiful sign. We want to make sure people see it when they drive by, and are hoping that you'll let us put that beautiful sign up on the wall.
Excellent, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. I'm going to open it up for some board questions. Al?
No,
Doug?
I have nothing.
I have nothing, Dan.
Bill?
I have none.
And it looks like it's in keeping with the exact size of the facade. I'm sure it'll be proportionate. Any public comments, questions?
Nothing online.
Nothing online. Matt, anything from the township?
Nothing from the township.
Okay, great. All right. Mr. Lastock, anything further to add?
We have nothing further, sir.
Thank you so much. Would someone like to make a motion for this petition?
I'll make the motion. I move that the application of Martin McLaughlin requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-45P, parens 5B of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to erect a facade sign which exceeds the 24 square foot allowable coverage at the property located at 8724 New Falls Road, Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19054 as depicted on the plans in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Doug. Bill, poll the board, please.
Al?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Dan?
Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. McLaughlin. Your petition's been approved.
Thank you so much, everybody.
You'll receive notification from the solicitor's office.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much.
Thank you,
Good night. Thank you, Mr. Lansdowne. Davis Hillside going to be loaded in via Zoom? Excellent.
Everybody's in.
Okay, great. Petition number 5, 72 Hillside LLC, 59 Hillside Lane, Fallsington, PA, requesting a dimensional variance to allow a 6-foot fence along 2 frontages of the property. And who do we have here from Hillside?
Yes, good evening, members of the board. My name is Natalie Young. I'm here on behalf of 72 Hillside, the applicant. I also have with me Mr. John Goodman and Mr. Mike Tom on
Okay.
behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Ms. Young. We're going to have your witnesses sworn in at this point. The next voice you hear will be our court reporter.
Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
You gentlemen are...
She needs to be on a microphone.
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah,
on mute.
we're unable to hear her.
She needs to be on a microphone, the court reporter.
Oh, okay, thank you. Also, they're, yeah, still muted on the second. Goodman?
Mr. Goodman, you're still
Yeah, Mr.
muted.
Goodman's still muted, so, thank you. Or is maybe on phone.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
We can't hear the witnesses. Yeah, Mr. Thorne, you're not showing muted, but you're not, I do not hear you.
I'm on the telephone.
We hear you now, Mr. Goodman.
Okay, sorry.
Do you swear to affirm?
Yes,
Look,
I do, yes.
Could you please state and spell Your full name, please.
Me?
Yes.
Jonathan Goodman, Jonathan, Goodman, Goodman.
And Mr. Thorne, you can hear us, correct? Yeah. Okay, now I'm picking you up, but you're very faint, your microphone. If you can get closer to the source, or?
I'm deaf. I can speak louder if you like.
That's perfect. Now we can hear you. Something was going on, yeah.
Okay, no worries.
So you heard our court reporter, you swear to affirm?
I do.
And if you could state and spell your name.
Michael Tom, Phom.
Okay, thank you. Yep, and now we're gonna mark some of the exhibits for the petition, Ms. Young.
Mr. Chairman, we'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1, along with the accompanying addendum to the application submitted by the applicant. Sorry, I lost two here. Two will be a letter from my law firm dated April 15th to the applicant. Three is a letter from Falls Township dated December 28th, 2021, to the applicant's attorney, providing notice of tonight's meeting, along with the Zoom information, Zoom waiver. Four is 5 pages containing 5 colored photographs, one of which shows the property was posted as required. 5 is proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier-Times, showing this matter was published December 28, 2021, and then again January 4, 2022. That is all of the board exhibits. Mr. Chairman, I have been previously provided with an exhibit list from the applicant's attorney. A3, they've already pre-marked, states affidavit of service, and I just have one moment. Ms. Young, the list of addresses that appear under A3, they've all been provided the notice that also appears under Exhibit A3?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Billigmeyer. Ms. Young, all yours.
Okay, so we are here on behalf of 72 Hillside, which is the applicant, not to be confused with the property, which is 59 Hillside Lane. The property, 59 Hillside Lane, is a neighboring property to 72 Hillside Lane. Tonight, we're here seeking dimensional variance with regard to the installation of 2 fences along the primary and secondary frontages of the property. The primary frontage being Hillside Lane, which is a dead-end street servicing 5 properties. Again, 72 Hillside is also on that street, and that's also in Tyburn Road is the secondary frontage, and that is a more heavily traveled road. However, the property is located up with a substantial gradage. It is also, there's also a landscape buffer in between Tyburn. So we are seeking the applicant has installed on a temporary basis due to an emergency situation 2 6-foot-high vinyl signs. I'd like to note that the application actually states that the fence appearing on the secondary frontage, which is Tyburn Road, is an aluminum chain link fence. That situation has changed. It is it's consistent with the fence along Hillside. It's both white vinyl fence. I'd like to let, I guess, Mr. Tom speak to the reasoning for the change in the fence, if I could ask him a question, please.
Of course.
Mr. Tom, can you explain why the fence on the secondary frontage has changed from a aluminum chain link fence to a 6-foot vinyl fence?
Yeah, sure. It's just lack of getting material. You can't get any material anywhere, and it's actually just an aluminum, like a picket fence that was going up there. But we just continued. The fence doesn't go all the way down, but we just went with the vinyl because that's all we can get, because everything's on a boat somewhere.
Okay, and just to let you know, these fences were installed on an emergency basis. This property was previously before the board in the spring of 2001. for a use variance application. The board granted the application for it to be used as part of a residential treatment facility, operated alongside with the property at 72 Hillside. And what had happened was, and actually, Mr. Tom, can you speak to what had occurred, or Mr. Goodman, what had occurred when the prior owners were vacated?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I'm going to say for at least the next month and a half, we've had, after we took ownership, we've had people come back, try to move in. We've had, people come there saying they live there. People come there looking for places to buy drugs. A lot of people that used to come down that road no longer come down that road anymore. We've installed cameras, the fence. We've done everything we could. I think we're pretty close to keeping those type of people away
I
from
can't
that
hear
area.
you. Mr. Tom, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? No.
No.
How about I summarize for you, like, we can see if you would not my testimony. Essentially, the property, what Mr. Tom was saying was that the property had been frequented by the previous owners and occupants of the property, which were.
You're breaking up too. I can't.
Can you hear me if I speak slower?
It sounds more like a microphone problem than it does it's how your voice, obviously, it's almost like you're going underwater at times, and it's cutting out a little bit at times. I'm not sure, Dave, that's not our end, is it?
No, we had issues with their microphones when they came in.
Okay, well, let's keep going and see if it gets any better.
Okay.
I'm on a telephone microphone. I don't know if that's any better.
You're slightly better, yes. Mr. Tom, we are having an issue with, and then Ms. Young was fine, then she started cutting out a little bit, so.
I can take, this isn't some great legal point. This is just, everybody knows this property. It's had more police visits and fire department visits than any property in Falls Township, I think, in the last 5 years. We bought it. We had to secure it. We came in to the zoning board and were granted a variance. We talked about the fence, that we would need to do it. We found that we had to do it on an emergency basis, because we had bikers and people showing up. This was a nefarious property. This wasn't a lighthearted, a bad kid kind of situation. These were professional drug addicts in there. It was a very bad scene, and it took us a month or so, even with the fence, to secure with cameras and visits, but we haven't had any police visits. We haven't had any fire department visits since the erection of the fence. And it really needed to go up to secure the property. It wasn't, we really didn't have a choice. So, or we would have just had all those people back again. So I think that was the question.
Great, thank you, Mr. Goodman.
Sure.
If you can hear me, we are seeking variance from both section 20937B and 20937C of the code with regard to the installation of a 6-foot high fence on the secondary frontage and, a fence on the primary frontage. And to the extent that it may encroach upon the clear sight triangle, which I do not believe that it does. If you look at the photos in the packet, where the gate and the driveway are located at the intersection, the fence is actually set far off from the road. And also with regard to the gradage on Tyburn Road, it's about 10 feet above, approximately 10 feet above the intersection. So, yeah, and we feel that this goes with the nature of the neighborhood now is actually a benefit to some extent, the extra security and added security. And just along the line of security, I'd like to mention there's also a Knox box installed for access to fire at the gate.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Young. Would you like to open it up for board comment, be appropriate now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Al?
I have nothing. I see the property. I know what's been going on, so.
Doug?
Yeah, I see the importance of this security. I see what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Bill?
Well, I understand that it was an emergency fence, but, since the emergency might be over, will be over, I think that the fence should be probably moved back, you know, can the fence just be brought up to the, end of the home, like the ordinance, and then just get the variance for, secondary front yard?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what, I understand what you're
Like,
asking.
you're asking for a variance because the secondary front yard, you have to have a variance for the fence. That's, but you also want to basically make encompass the whole house and fence, right?
No, it's only the primary and the secondary frontage along the streets. The other sides are not encompassed.
All right. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Ed, this isn't in the site triangle as far as coming off of Tyburn onto Hillside, correct?
We don't,
No site triangles issues.
Okay, great, thank you. Sorry, Ms. Young, I didn't mean to cut you off, it's hard when.
no, I was gonna say we don't believe so, but out of an abundance of caution, we wanted to.
Yeah,
bring that to
Ed
your
goes out, he
attention.
checks it all out, he does a really nice job of making sure, we don't want to have anybody, you know how Tyburn can be during the day if you're familiar with the property too, as a lot of us are who drive through that neighborhood, that you don't want to create a dangerous situation for people leaving Hillside, obviously, by allowing this fence, and we would never allow something in the site triangle anyway. That was all the comment I had. Any public comments, questions? There's no public in this room, so it would be via Zoom.
We have nothing online.
Okay, great. Matt, anything?
Nothing for the township.
Okay, nothing in writing, thank you. Without further board comments, Ms. Young, anything in closing?
No, just in closing, we think that this is a benefit to the neighborhood in that it prevents some of the activity that's been going on, and to address one of the board members' comments earlier, I do believe that it's possible that the prior owners and occupants would continue to return, as it had been established behavior over several months. Right now, they're currently deterred by the fence, but I don't know, that they would be deterred should the fence be removed.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Young. Okay. I think it's appropriate now to ask if the board would like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion. I move that the application of 72 Hillside LLC requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-37B and 209-37C of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow for a 6-foot fence along two frontages of the property at the property located at 59 Hillside Lane, Fallsington, Pennsylvania, 19054, as depicted on the plans, in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Bill, if you could poll the board, please.
Al?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Myself is a no. Dan?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. The petition's been approved. Ms.
Thank you.
Young, you'll receive correspondence from the Office of Bidlingmeyer and Bidlingmeyer. on behalf
Great.
of
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, with that, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.